and start recording the audio. Hello, here on YouTube. I know I should I should have scheduled this, but with the schedule that me and my mom have at home, I don't always know what time I can record or what time I'll think of recording. So that's why I come here live because I don't always know when I want to go live. So yesterday afternoon, I put here on a post that I forgot about the Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross match. And because I forgot about that, I want to start off by talking about that match. I believe it was right before the Raw World Heavyweight Championship match. What I thought about this match was how the entire match was basically getting over the when I say get over, let me restate that. We already know that Karrion Kross, what we would call his character's supposed to be a conspiracy theorist. But really, how he's gone and his growth as a character really been very, like Michael Cole said, psychotic or crazy. And he wanted Sami Zayn to just say he's right. Or, better yet, he wanted Sami Zayn to prove that he was right. And that's what the entire story of the match was. Get him to do what Karrion Kross knows he's capable of, but it doesn't want people to believe he's capable of, and that is taking a pipe like Kross does and hitting someone with it, and in this case, it was Karrion. So what I liked was how instead of using it against Sami, and instead of Sami using it at all, when even Karrion's wife, Scarlett, who backs him on everything he says, backs him up on everything he says, she tried to get Sami to use the pipe and he threw it down, and that's what led to him winning the match. And what I like, and I think I may have said this a long time ago too, perfect thing about Sami Zayn is his finisher, because just like Tully Blanchard used the slingshot suplex to win, excuse me, and beauty part is most of his opponents, he could do that with ease, because even though he was a good 4 or 5 inches shorter than most of them, he was still tall enough to where he could do that move on anybody. And that is what makes Sami Zayn's finisher so perfect for him, is that he could hit it on anybody and he could finish the match. That's what I like the most about Sami Zayn, is when he finds a way to win, all he has to do is hit that finisher and he will beat everybody he's against. And they did have the shine, the heat, the comeback, and the cutoff all in it. So when you think about it, SummerSlam Night 1 was really good because there's only one match I could fuss. Last night's match, none of them were bad. the most surprising one was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. The reason it was surprising was there were like a lot of times when I thought Cena was going to win, and it being a street fight, specifically speaking, that shows there are a lot of moments that kept you on the edge of your seat. That's how you know it was a good match. Thank you to. Okay, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody's name up here, so thank you to the person who came on here to watch. The first match last night was okay. Let me see if I can find my notes, because I did take notes on this. Was the 3-way for the women's world title, Raw? No, the Raw Women's Championship. Naomi defending against the two women she cashed her Money in the Bank briefcase on, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. What I liked was how the cutoff and the heat both happened together. What I liked more than that was how they showed Naomi's father was playing music for her entrance live. So I told my mom later on last night, I said, no wonder she went into entertainment. Her father's in music. What I liked about this match was the part where it looked like Io Sky was about to. Okay, she had. Not Io Sky had. Let me restate that. Rhea Ripley had Io Sky on her neck and shoulders. Looked like she was about to go for either an electric chair drop, or looked like she was about to turn around for a sit down power bomb. And Io, it looked like she improvised the reverse Frankensteiner. I thought that was a great moment. After the finish came when, now the little bit in between, what I liked was how they decided to double team on Naomi until Naomi moved out the way and one hit the other, that being Ripley. Then it became what it's supposed to be, every woman for herself. And finally, Rhea Ripley got where she had gotten Io where she wanted her, and she hit her finisher, the Riptide, from the top rope. So it looked like she was going to win the title back and win the match and regain the title. So what happened? As she was trying to make the pinfall, she got rolled up by Naomi. And like Michael Cole pointed out in the replay, it didn't matter. Replay of the match. It didn't matter if she pulled the tights or not, because 3-way or 4-way matches now are automatically anything goes. So you don't have to worry about breaking the rules, because there are no rules anymore. And the reason I liked that was because it gives the opponent that's about to be pinned, it completely prevents them from having enough time to get up to break up the pinfall. That's why I liked that. In honor of the 25th anniversary of the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs tag team title match at the 2000 SummerSlam, they had they not only had a match for, they not only had that for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the Street Profits, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, the newly formed tag team of Andrade and Ray Phoenix. They also had tag team champions, the Wyatt Six, and you had Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. What I was not too what I was not too thrilled about was how the wife of Johnny Gargano, she because she was trying to climb the ladder to get the titles for her husband and his tag partner Tommaso Ciampa. What I did not like was how she, and I know this is a risk in every ladder match, but she was not an actual entrant in the match. So even though I like that they can do that because it gives everybody involved or associated with each team to get involved, that's still, like Ted DiBiase would say, it's too much like a circus when they do that. The worst part is they should not be put in that situation. And you could even see Montez Ford was like, I didn't realize she was on the ladder. So he had to say he was sorry in the back. At least that was the face he made. What I did like though was how I did say that, didn't I, a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, everybody was associated with the teams in the match. B-Fab, not just Gargano's wife, but also Nikki Cross. B-Fab, who's been associated with the Street Profits, she helped too. Nikki Cross. Those are the only ones that come to mind. And then I remember Uncle Howdy got involved. Eric Redbeard, Rowan got involved. And finally, it took the actual champions of the White Six to climb up the ladder, and that's how they kept the titles. However, I would have to say one thing. I think retrieving the title instead of taking it off the clamp is more interesting. Instead of having a belt hanger over the clamp that you have to take off, I think unstrapping the titles is a better option because it's a reminder of what it means to actually win the ladder match. Now, although I didn't see anything wrong with the way this match was booked, the fact that there was no reason to use that 5-part formula of a good match is what takes away from it, because the shine, the heat, the comeback, and the cutoff is all a recipe of what a good match is. So even though you can, in a traditional ladder match, you can have traditional moves and you can have the shine, the heat, and all that stuff. But in a TLC match, you don't need to use that because you have all these weapons. So that's why I think a TLC match makes it more like a circus than anything else. If there would be a better way to have a ladder match, I would say it was the match that Jeff Jarrett made famous in TNA, the King of the Mountain match. Another match that's similar to the ladder match would be Ultimate X. Now that's a very hard match to have because you have to have a lot of upper body strength. But what Tommaso Ciampa showed last night was why Ultimate X is a better option than a ladder match because it makes it more possible for you to stay up there instead of be pulled down. But man, he has a lot more upper body strength than I thought. He was able to hold on to where the titles were strapped to and pick himself up by his legs and keep himself up there. So that shows that even Ultimate X would be a better option than a TLC match, just for the sake of being able to keep from getting pulled off. But what I liked about the King of the Mountain match is instead of having to use a ladder to retrieve a title, you use the belt to hang the title. So even though there could be some, there is a risk either way, there's not as much of a risk as it is when you have a table being added or you have a chair being added to it. And even though you can set up ladders and tables in a King of the Mountain match, the point is that's not the object of the match. The object is climbing up the cage and hanging the belt. The reason I like that is because it's a lot less. This is a full story. These are the full rules. If y'all never heard me talk about King of the Mountain, these are the rules. You have a pinfall. You can score a pinfall anywhere in the arena. Then, when you get the pinfall, you grab the belt from the person holding the belt and you climb up the ladder to hang it. Whoever hangs it is a champion. Now, that's why I believe that's a better option in a lot of ways. Yes, you could. Yes, you could use an Ultimate X match and have the same thing, but the Ultimate X is to pull it down like retrieving a title is. So that's why I believe the King of the Mountain or the idea of King of the Mountain is a better option. But I have to say, that's crazy as that TLC match was when the women got involved. At least that one part when Candice LeRae fell off the ladder and into the other ladder. That, as crazy as that scene was, I don't think anything was crazier than when Becky Lynch took zip ties and put them around Lyra Valkyria's wrists to try to make it easier to defeat her or to embarrass her. And that's the biggest part of the heat right there. You have the shine and the heat in the first 10, 15 minutes of the match. Then you have the comeback and the cutoff. The cutoff came when Bayley entered the fray and she tried to help Lyra, but she accidentally hit her. That's what led to the finish. So all four parts were taken care of. I'm gonna look on Peacock for a second, like I did yesterday, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I'm missing a match. If anybody is wondering why I don't do play by play for this event, well, the reason I don't do play by play is I like to do play by play for classic content, which I'm gonna bring back, this week. I just need to know the last thing I spoke about as a classic content. Is there? I guess there is more. There's a lot of reasons to disagree with what they put in the WWE as far as what they say, but because they don't because I don't want to take the fun out of this, let me keep my focus where it should be. I was just reminded there was one match I did forget about, and it's the U.S. title for the steel cage match for the men's United States title. What I thought was amazing was how no matter what Solo did to his cousin Jacob, he could not find a weakness of any kind in Jacob fought too, but that numbers, if it wasn't for all of Solo's associates and his new family, I say it like that because most of them, if not all his new members, I don't think they're really. I know one's not related to him. I don't think the other two. No, three. I don't think the other three are related to him either. They're not even a little bit. I would have to really have to do some research on that. But what to make my point of what was make my point about how important they are to Solo keeping the title. I underestimated them. Not only were they able to scale the cage, they're able to climb up to the top and get inside the ring. So that showed to me something that either put them in a Hell in a Cell match or close the ring, close the cage, and do do like Flair and Hogan back, I think was in 1999, when Flair decided to take the cage door off the cage and to put barbed wire around the top of the cage, make sure nobody got in or out. That way it would have to be fight to the finish. And the reason I like the finish they used with Becky Lynch is because of the focus. They put the focus on the title because even though now the question is how is Becky Lynch going to lose the title? Who's going to be her next opponent? But the title is still more important than who's holding it now. I say it like that because now we're more concerned about the title and who we think should be the champion. It's not about the person holding the title, it's about the title itself. And I always thought the focus should be the championship itself. So that's why I honestly care more about the championship right now than who's holding it. Because it's like, I don't know why, but they have a tendency to overhype some of the characters on TV. Becky Lynch is a great wrestler, but to say she's the greatest female ever, unless of course you say greatest draw, which is a better word for it. But even that, I would still say Fabulous Moolah is the person you have to look at if you want to have a comparison of who the greatest ever is. Because she was champion officially. Officially, they say over 30 years, but legitimately, really held the title 9 years before they found somebody who could dethrone her. So that's why I would say that Becky Lynch is not the greatest female wrestler ever. Sometimes it's easier to see who the greatest manager could be because sometimes it's easier to compare who a great manager is because of the reputation they have with the fans. Sensational Sherry. She may not have been the only female manager, but she was the greatest female manager because when you look at all the female managers they've had since she officially retired from the business, and that was before she was inducted and then unfortunately died the next year. So when you look at what she was able to do as a manager, and nothing against Terry Reynolds or Sonny or Sable for that matter, but what she did with everybody she managed speaks for itself. She made, just like Ric Flair made every opponent better, she made every client better. That's why I would say she's the greatest female manager ever. That's just to make a point of how you can judge how great somebody really is in wrestling today. Now, outside of that, I believe there's only one more match to look at, and that's World Heavyweight Championship. What amazed me the most was I saw Cody Rhodes do something in this match that I haven't seen be done since about 33 years ago when I was watching the War Games, the best of War Games, because War Games is one of my favorite matches. So when I saw the best of War Games, I saw it from the year 1992, when Sting and his men went against the Dangerous Alliance. At one point, Dangerous Alliance decided they wanted to unscrew the turnbuckle to use as a weapon, except they used the turnbuckle pad was accidentally used against one of the Dangerous Alliance members. So that's what's amazing to me was how even today you can sometimes see something that hasn't been used in a long time. That's what amazed me about the event. Like I told Mom, I said why I always liked watching wrestling is because it is such a subjective show. You don't know what to expect a lot of times. Well, even if you think you know what to expect, you still can be surprised. Like I thought going into SummerSlam as a fan, I thought, well, he's got a lot of dates left before he officially retires. John Cena has a lot of dates left, that is. And I thought, would they have him lose the title to Cody Rhodes in this match to add a new layer to Cody Rhodes' character? And that's exactly what happened. I don't know how many reverse neck breakers he had to do on John Cena, but he finally won, and that whole match was amazing. I mean, they went down the elevator shaft that Cody Rhodes uses for all of his entrances, and they actually came up from it and still managed to stay alive in the match at Rhodes and managed to hit his finisher and keep his title. So yeah, I would say the entire 2 night event of SummerSlam was great. The way I see it, if there's only one match you really have a problem with the finish of, not because you don't like who won, but because you don't like the way it looked, you don't like the way what they did in the ring, I would say that is a big plus because my dad used to always fuss about things that just did not make sense. Like I told Mom, I said, "What when I saw the Slim Jim table when John Cena was setting up Rhodes for the AA through the table, when Rhodes knocked over the table, I told Mom, I said, Dad would have loved to see that because he made it look authentic. He was actually fighting. He wasn't going along with it. That's what I would always say. It's easy if you look at, for instance, I was talking about this with my mom last night. If you talk to somebody who does not like pro wrestling because they can see where it's a show only, well, I heard on a show once that if they would see the referee stop the count and the guy moved his arm or kicked out, that would be enough for him to see it, for this person to see that it wasn't a sport but a show. And I just told my mama said, when I've seen a couple of amateur wrestling events on TV, and all it ever took for a referee to stop a count was moving your shoulder like that, like they do in wrestling or doing like that. So that's why my response to that thinking is I've seen legitimate wrestling referees stop because the same thing that this character was talking about. It was not to defend it. No, there's nothing to defend. It's all a matter of if you like it or not. It's just to say that that's just how I looked at it. But I do understand how if you like, for instance, if you like football but you don't like watching it in a movie because it's not based off of reality, the whole thing is pretend. I can understand you not liking that because some people are that serious about it. So I can understand not liking it for that reason. All right. Thank you and goodbye. I'm going to be uploading these two episodes on Anchor. So if you see this on a replay, just if you like the audio, just look for it on Anchor because I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube if I can find. If I can share it on YouTube, I will. Thank you and goodbye.